So now what are ovaries? A pair of ovaries is present in the lower abdomen. The ovaries are two small oval-shaped organs which produce the female gametes called ova or eggs. Once the female reaches sexual maturity or puberty, a single mature ovum or egg is released every month from one of the ovaries. The process of release of a mature ovum from the ovary is called ovulation. So there are two ovaries present in the lower abdomen. Means a pair of ovaries is present in the lower abdomen. The ovaries are small and they are oval-shaped organs. They are responsible for the production of female gametes. Female gametes can also be called as ova or eggs. So once the female reaches the stage of puberty, a single mature ovum or egg is released every month from one of the ovaries. And the release of this mature ovum from the ovary is called ovulation. Now, what are oviducts? A pair of oviducts or fallopian tubes extend from the edge of each ovary to the uterus. The end of each fallopian tube is funnel-shaped. The ovum or egg is released by the ovary into the fallopian tube. Fertilization of ovum by the sperm takes place in the fallopian tube. If the ovum is fertilized by a sperm, a zygote is formed. This zygote develops into an embryo. The embryo develops into a baby inside the uterus of the mother. If the egg or ovum is not fertilized, it is discharged from the body along with blood and the lining of the uterine wall by a process known as menstruation. So there is a pair of oviducts, or we can also say that fallopian tubes. Oviducts are also known as fallopian tubes. So a pair of oviducts or fallopian tubes extend from the edge of each ovary and then it joins to the uterus. The end of each fallopian tube is like funnel. It is funnel shaped. The egg or ovum that is prepared by the ovary is then released into the fallopian tube. The fertilization of ovum by sperm also takes place in the fallopian tube or oviducts only. If the ovum is fertilized by a sperm, a zygote is formed and then this zygote develops and forms an embryo. The development of embryo forms into a baby and this process takes in the uterus of the mother. If the egg or ovum is not fertilized, then it is discharged out of the body in the form of blood along the lining of the uterine wall by a process known as menstruation. So as we have seen now, these are the two ovaries. These are the two ovaries as you can see, and these are fallopian tubes. They join from the ovary and then they go to connect the uterus. As you can see, at the end of each fallopian tube, it's like funnel shaped, right? It's like this. This is like a funnel shaped. Fallopian tubes can also be called as oviducts. This is cervix and this is vagina. And this part is called the uterus. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Now what is uterus? The uterus or womb is that part of the female reproductive system where the development of the embryo takes place. The zygote formed in the fallopian tube develops into an embryo. The embryo develops into a baby inside the uterus of the mother. So the uterus can also be called as womb and it is a part of the female reproductive system where the development of the embryo takes place and this embryo develops into a child. The zygote is formed in the fallopian tube. It develops in the fallopian tube and then forms an embryo. And this embryo then goes into the uterus and again develops into a baby. Thank you.